Hello everyone and welcome to a new video on my channel. I'm Adam and today I've got another ranking video for you guys. This video has been requested to me by the YouTube channel Ultimate Pair, who does their own Battle of the Beast videos and will soon be doing their own Beast reviews. So looking forward to seeing that, and your Battle of the Beast videos are fun to see as well, especially with Ultimate Pair Junior and yourself. It's nice to see two people hosting it. It's great, honestly. Their Battle of the Beast videos also included the Super Beast, which I've never mentioned on this channel before. So if you don't know, the Super Beast is a combination of, I believe, three Series 2 beasts, them being Claw, Vipero, and Trillium. I think it's Vipero, not sure about that one. But that is I thought it was a good idea to bring in the Super Beast, add your own twists about the Beast, which is fine. I don't care if you completely rip me off. I mean, because I don't mind. I don't I like Yes, I'm fully aware I may have been the first person to do Battle of the Beasts, but I don't own the product, or I don't like to think I do. I do have some people asking for permission if they can do their own. It's fine. I'm gonna say yes. I mean, it's great to see other people do Battle of the Beasts. Uh, but yeah, I got requested by Ultimate Pair to rank all the water beasts of Beast Quest from my least favorite to favorite. Whilst doing this, though, I had to get some help from Lucas and Jack regarding what beasts should be on this list and what shouldn't. And we settled with beasts that live in the water or rely on the water to be in this list. So with that, I have 30 beasts here. I will give a disclaimer. Beasts which aren't on this list are Tempera the Time Stealer. Despite looking like a water beast, never actually needs the water. Xeric the Bone Cruncher isn't on here because whilst he lives in the paddy fields, there has been a moment in this book where he attacks a village out of the water and then burns to death. Bit morbid if you ask me, but alright. Also, it would be ironic for a water beast to be weak to fire. And then the other beast which isn't on this list is Captiva the Shrieking Siren. And that is because whilst I believe she's fought in a foresty, swampy area in the Netherworld, she doesn't really rely on the water as much as the only tree beast on this list. So out of the three tree beasts, only one of them is on this list. And yeah, we'll see where this one ranks. But yeah, please bear in mind this is my opinion, so if your opinion is different, please leave your favorite war beast down in the comments below. And with that, let's get into this. We've got 30 books to go through, one for each series, even though some seasons don't have water beasts, and there's 31 seasons. So yeah. Right. Also, obviously, Series 32 will be released this year, with Dolorous the Spike Destroyer being the walrus beast here. Because I haven't read about Dolorous, which I'm assuming is a she, I'm not putting her on my list. But by design, you'll probably be on the lower end. She will probably be on the lower end, but hey, I don't know. I need to read the book before I make my opinion on her. But yeah, with that, 30 books to go through, and let's get into this. So in last place we have Querzol the Swamp Monster, the only tree beast on this list, and the only reason why Querzol's on this list to begin with is because his name has the word swamp in it, which obviously, marshy wetlands and all that. But also Querzol, I believe, is actually in the water rather than attached to the earth or part of the earth, unlike Terra and Captiva. They are part of the earth. Querzol actually isn't. It's more like a tree that grew in the swamp water. So that's why Querzol's on this list and the others aren't. I think that's the decision we came to anyway, myself, Lucas and Jack. But hey, I don't know. But Querzol is still my least favourite of the water beasts. This is not the first time he's come in last place with a ranking. Probably won't be the last time either. But yeah, I can't imagine Querzol actually being any higher on this list. Moving on. In 29th place, we have Elko, Lord of the Sea. And for the Lord of the Sea, you are such a very disappointing beast to the point your design is the only good aspect and it's not even that great to begin with. Abilities aren't that fun, fight is forgettable and ended quite quickly. And that is all I can say about Elko. That is remotely nice. 28th place, we have Soara the Sting Inspector. This beast was pretty much invisible for most of the book, to the point where I forgot that she was actually the main beast, because for most of the fight it was more along the lines of the pirates on the island in the Trial of Heroes, while Soara was lurking in the ocean, not doing anything. And when she did appear for a fight, it was only for a chapter or two, and so it was rushed, forgettable, and all in all disappointing for a beast that looks stunning, by the way. 27th place, we have Styro the Snapping Brute. And what ranks Styro this low is, despite the fact that he appears in a decent chunk of the book, what pulls him down for me is actually how underwhelming he is. We had a crab beast or lobster beast around this point. We had a crab beast before him. We had a lobster beast shortly after him, and both of which are better than Styro. So unfortunately, Styro just falls into the middle ground here, being forgettable for that. But his fight, I would say, is fun, using himself as a battering ram, shows how durable he is. But then he gets crushed by the thing he's trying to batter, so technically he kills himself. So, you know, that knocks a point. But really, I just find him underwhelming. I wanted more from him, and I didn't, which starts Series 16 off in a bit of a sour taste, in my opinion. 26th place, we have Solak, Scourge of the Sea. And the only reason why he's above the other beast is because he's actually intimidating on the design factor. Was his design isn't the best compared to the previous beast I mentioned, like Soara. He is the more intimidating one. His abilities are more fleshed out than the other beast's abilities, but his fight isn't as memorable as Styro's. But because he has 2 points over Styro, while Styro only has 1, that's why I put Solak over Styro. 25th place is the beast I've spoken most about in December, being Voltrex the Two-Headed Octopus. It is honestly absurd how many times Voltrex has appeared in my videos in December. I hope this will be the last time for a while I can talk about Voltrex, but all my opinions on him has been either neutral or negative, and this one is unfortunately negative. Compared to the other Water Beasts, I just don't like Voltrex as much. I think his design was cool, but when I first got it, and the more and more I saw it, and the more beasts that got released afterwards, he just seemed more and more forgettable. So I just lost all interest in actually in Voltrex completely. I feel his knight form is more standout than the actual beast, which is saying something considering this is one of the rare beasts with multiple heads. But yeah, the blue knight with the mace, stands out more than Voltrex. In 24th place, we have Naga the sea monster. And the problem I have with Naga is the problem that I've been saying for the past year and a half now, is that his weakness, when he loses one of his heads, it regrows back and that new head starts attacking the old heads. For the first Hydro Beast, I expected so much more, and for it to just be shafted with such a bad weakness, which shows the main ability of a Hydra, it sucks. So I can't actually like this thing. Plus, with the fact that I've been body shaming this Hydra for so many months now, it's hilarious but also very bad at the same time. So I can't actually bring myself to like Naga as much as I used to like him. 23rd place, we have Zephyr the Monster Squid. And whilst I do have some appreciation for this beast, what pulls it down is ultimately his abilities being what you'd expect, his design being just a giant squid, and his fight being the best part about the book is good. However, I feel more compelled with the story than I do with Zephyr, and that's what pulls him down for me. 22nd place, sorry, I think. Yeah, 23rd place, we have Crab the Master of the Sea. No. 22nd place, sorry, we have Crab Master of the Sea. And yeah, I think this beast is alright. However, due to how little I've spoken about Crab in the past, unfortunately, Crab is just a bit forgettable to me. Whilst I do remember his fight with Tom being completely underwater, him also showing off, him also appearing by killing the shark and eating it, I think is fine. The design actually looks quite nice. Reminds me a little bit of a spider, but you know, it's a crab. But yeah, I can't really say much about Crab other than he's a good version of Sepron, just not as good. In 21st place, we have Sepron the Sea Serpent, the better version of Crab. So Obviously, this beast is up higher because of nostalgia reasons, but ultimately, though, his fight was very restrictive. His abilities are fine, his design looks nice, but because of how restrictive his fight is, I can't put him any higher than 21st place to me. But I still think he's a good beast. I just want him to have more time to shine in future books, but I doubt that's going to happen now. In 19th place, you have Styx the Lurking Terror. And so, whilst this beast has always been there for me and kind of forgettable, which it still is, I want to actually appreciate this beast more. So, yeah, I want to appreciate this beast more. However, at this current point in time, I need to put it this low due to not knowing much about it. I do want to appreciate it. It looks alright, looks nice. However, because of how little I know about it and the fact it's from a series which I don't particularly think is great, I need to say Styx is relatively low. 18th place, you have Garrux the Coral Giant. And yeah, Garrux is simply this low due to simply being overshadowed by other beasts in Series 29 and the other water beasts here. I do like Garrux's design. I like his fight as well. His abilities are alright, but because of how much he's overshadowed by how superior the other beasts are in his series and above him, it does kind of shine a light on his weak points, which expose them for being worse than they actually are, which is not actually Garrux's fault. It's just, I just think it comes down to poor selection. If Garrux is in another series, let's say Series 28, rather than instead of Styx being in Series 28, I think Garrux would have been the best piece of that series. But unfortunately, being in Series 29, it just makes Garrux the most forgettable and most underappreciated beast of that series. To the point where I can say he's underappreciated, but I agree that he is the worst piece of that series. In 17th place, we have Pyrano the Water Dragon. And I'm going to start off with the positives. His design looks great and reminds me of Crustacean from Ice Age 2. Sorry, Crustaceous, sorry. Which is great. I do like how intimidating he looks. I like the great debut book for Azul here. However, my downside, which I have with Pyrano, is actually his abilities. Whilst the flight is cool, other than that, there's nothing really much else that's noteworthy regarding Pyrano's abilities. None I can remember anyway. His fight was alright. I did like the foreshadowing to how it ended with a ship exploding. So it was fun and fine. However, because For Dragon doesn't actually shoot anything out of his mouth, like, you know, a water blast. No, it doesn't do that. It's just underwhelming and just makes Pyrano not that great of a beast, in my opinion. I just think he's fine. Probably the second weakest of Series 31. In 16th place, we have Kawa the River Beast. I do have a lot of appreciation for this beast and nostalgia due to this being the third special I've ever got. And I did like the fight. I thought it was fun. I think the design is actually quite nice as well. However, what pulls him down is his ability being such a life-hindering ability for him. I did like his weakness, sorry, but his abilities, being able to turn people evil just by one slash of the claws, is fun. It reminds me of, you know, typical zombie movies. And the whole pacing for the fight, when you first encounter Okawa up until the final climax, it feels almost like a horror movie to the point where it's actually really fun to read. And yeah, I do have appreciation for this beast. Whilst it's not high up in my specials ranking, I still have appreciation to the point where I would say, hey, I do recommend this book. Okay, so I've done some counting wrong, but in 16th place, this is actually 16th now, we have Selkara, Monster of the Depths. And what makes Selkara better than the other New Protectors water beast is actually her intimidation factor. Her design is leagues better than the other ones, in my opinion. And her being able to hold her own on land, despite not being very mobile on land, shows how strong she is. I feel that if all the beasts in Series 30 are to go against each other in a fight, I would feel Selkara would be the one most likely to come out on top. And yeah, that's pretty much all I can say about Selkara. I think she is a great a great beast from Series 30, which really stands out among the others. Whilst I don't believe she's the best, I do believe she's one of she is the strongest, sorry. In 15th place, we have Verak the Storm King, and quite simply, this is the introduction of Rhea, one of my favourite Beast Quest villains here, right there. And Verak in general, I love the design, I love the shade of purple. I do love that he brings a storm with him wherever he goes. He's the oncoming storm. The shell, the claws, the double set of claws on one pincer, both of them, and so much more. The fight is fun as well. I do generally like this beast. However, due to this, big, slow-moving, bulky beast, that does hinder him. However, that doesn't really say, hey, I don't like this beast. It says, hey, I like this beast, even though it has this flaw, which is just a personal opinion of mine. In 14th place, we have Flugga the Sightless Sliverer. Okay, so with this beast, this beast has fallen down a lot in my rankings, from being one of the best water beasts in my opinion to now being 14th place. This is just a personal opinion. So what makes Flugga stand out is his design looking fantastic, by the way. It is intimidating, looks fun, incredible. The abilities are what you'd expect. I don't think there's really anything special about Flugga's design, but it's still fun to see, fun to do. His fight is also fun. Having Daltek at the final blow is unique as well. However, he is the most forgettable of this series. The other thing which I remember Flugga for is actually from my Battle of the Beast New Generation tournament, where I mentioned in his first fight against Raikar, I say Flugga can see his opponent. Then fast forward to the round 2 fight against Sawara, I mentioned that Flugga is blind. So I contradicted myself there to where Flugga probably shouldn't have won his round 1 fight, but I still stuck with it because my word is final and all that. But yeah, this is why Flugga's up this high, due to one mistake I made in Battle of the Beast, which I haven't let myself forget because of how funny it is. In 13th place, we have Skalix the Snapping Horror, and quite frankly, it's surprising that I'm actually starting to appreciate the Series 20 beasts, especially when I said I don't actually like Series 20, but now I'm starting to appreciate it, and Skalix is the main reason. Like with Verak, he's the big, bulking, slow-moving beast, but he has such a powerful weapon on it at the end of his tail to the point where, hey, I don't mind that, because that hits harder than any hammer that can be hit. Maybe one beast can hit harder than that with such a blunt objects that can hit harder, and I think I know which beast that would be. But that is pretty much his only defining feature Skalix has, whilst everything else is just, yeah. The only thing that makes Skalix great is his tail. In 12th place, we have D'Vorah the Deathfish. Now, abilities are fantastic. The abilities really caught me off guard. I was not expecting these kinds of abilities from D'Vorah. So to see them, it's such a treat to see. And the fight is also incredible. I did enjoy the fight. Having Arcto involved and having be as useless as ever is fun as well. Yeah, the only downside to D'Vorah was actually her design, where just by looking at her, I thought she was going to be a very boring book. Looks kind of goofy in my opinion, and would be such an underwhelming book and a joke to the series. But then after reading it, I was like, oh my god, D'Vorah is actually the second best beast of this series. Yeah, D'Vorah, I severely undermined you, and yeah, I've paid the price for it, and now I really do appreciate this beast. What stops her from going any higher is the design still, but it's not really as a way of where I look at the design and say, it's a joke. I look at the design and think, it looks good, but there seems to be too much going on. So that's why I can't put her any higher. 11th place, we have Nasefa the Cursed Siren, and simply comparing her design to D'Vorah's, this one is easily more intimidating. I love the red steel sword that she has fused to her hand. I love the whole mermaid aesthetic that she has, where the tail ends here, curves round and ends there. That face is nightmare fuel. You got a callback to Sephiroth with the seaweed hair. So much about the design I like. Then you got the abilities, which are simple but effective. And the fight, it was also fun and shows Naseffa's dedication to doing her job by actually leaving the water, her home territory where she excels at the most, and goes on a ship and still puts up her own very well. Whilst not as well as Selkara has put up her own, Naseffa still did a good job at holding her own ground very well. Another part about Naseffa which I like the most is actually her job, which is defending the ships of Makai ready for the invasion of Avantia, which I think was one of the most important jobs in that series, really, and what makes me appreciate the Beast of Series 22 more than most people probably would. In 10th place, we have Korvax the Sea Dragon. So originally, if I did this list probably 2 years ago, which I'm pretty sure I did, I would have ranked Korvax quite low down. However, I've grown to appreciate Korvax due to her design simply looking more better, in my opinion. I like the whole watery wings on the design, the ice breath, the fin fangs that Korvax has. All fun. But then you go to her actual design in the book, and she's revealed to look like she's entirely made of ice. Those needles are razor thin, sharp like needles. Ice breath, so much. What makes her a water-related beast, though, is that if she if she has a wound or loses a limb, she can just dive into water and it will grow back. I've also said that her ice breath she can breathe on herself and it'll heal back because ice is pretty much water. So honestly, it's such an overpowered ability. Not to mention this beast is see-through in her book as well, where you could see the victims that she's eaten before around here. I think it's a great add-on to making this beast an underappreciated beast of Series 19, and I think one of the best beasts of Series 19. In 9th place, we have the first Series 7 beast, being Convold Cold-Blooded Brute. Now, I know what you're thinking, this beast was fought in the desert. Why is this beast on here? This is because Convold is a crocodile. Crocodiles are normally found in swamps or watery areas, so Convold is a water-related beast. Plus, Convold was actually fought in an environment that's not suited for his own habitat. Like with another beast, which I'll be mentioning next, he grows weaker the further away from water he is. So, considering Tom was able to beat him when he was only close to an oasis, imagine how devastating this beast could be at a river or, God forbid, the ocean. So, yeah, I do think Convold deserves to be on this list, and being a great start to Series 7 already solidifies Convold to be a great one, and one of the best water beasts in my opinion. 8th place, we have Merc the Swamp Man, and like I said with Convold, this beast is strongest near water and weaker the farther away from water he is. So with that does mean Merc is already a force to be reckoned with, because we've seen that in Battle of the Beasts and his book as well. Now, like with Quasar, why did I add Merc onto this list? Swamps are marshy areas with water, and that's why I added Merc onto this list. Not to mention, his weakness entirely relies on how close to water he is. So Merc does deserve to be on this list, in my opinion. And quite frankly, one of the best beasts of Series 6. Underrated, in my opinion, or probably perfectly rated. I just forgot about this beast. But being 8th place on this list just shows that I do actually appreciate this beast, and it does deserve a lot more recognition. 7th place is Spikefin the Water King, and what makes Spikefin fantastic is his design looking intimidating and fantastic. Every part of him is sharp, the fins here, the claws, fangs, and that green gas coming out. Not entirely sure if it actually is anything serious, but it just looks like a nice add-on. His abilities are fun, he's agile, durable, got a trident as well, fun, and the fight inside that sinking house is perfect in my opinion. Weakness is land restriction limit like Naseffa and Selkara do, but unfortunately he doesn't get the opportunity to hold his own outside of water. But I feel like he would do a good job, just not as good as Naseffa and Selkara, but I still prefer Spikefin over those two beasts because of his fight simply being better. I forgot to cut away. Just missing out on the top 5, we have Glarky, Spear of the Depths. And what makes Glarky excellent in my opinion is his design looking intimidating and fun at the same time, but his abilities are fantastic, especially the one where he can turn water to ice like D'Vorah can. But what D'Vorah can't do is smash the ice, turn them into icy needles, and control them to fly straight towards his opponents. I think that's one of the best abilities a beast can have, and whilst it won't normally do damage to a fair amount of beasts, I still think it's a fun one to see from a beast which I wouldn't expect to have an ability as epic as that. His fight was also fun. Whilst it's not the best fight of Series 25, I still think it's a good one and makes him the second best of Series 25. Fifth place, we have Technos the Ocean Crawler, and like with a couple other beasts which I mentioned before, Vorak and Scalix, being the slow-moving, bulky beast, yes, this one is the only one that's broke the mold to being one that I actually really like. And Technos being based off a kaiju called Gamera is just as fun, and having him destroy a sea village, a fishing village, is even more fun to see as well. It is so much fun to read this book, and I do not get bored reading it as well because it's so much fun. His fight is simple but epic. His abilities are what you'd expect, but oh my god, it's fun. I love this beast. Fourth place, we have probably the most underappreciated water beast there is, being Balisca the Water Snake. And he's so underappreciated, where Sampaio even says he's the weakest beast of Series 8. And whilst I believe that may be true, I wouldn't say he is, because Hexen exists. But Balisk has a really good ability, being able to split into two forms of himself, one staying in the water, one flying. So you literally control two parts of the three terrains, land, sea, and air. Not to mention you have sharp spikes all over your face and sharp fangs, incredibly agile, fun, and a very standout weakness with a black stripe going along his back, which isn't shown in the cover. I think is still a good one because with how agile Balisk is, he can defend it very well. And I think I've done a good job in Battle of the Beast being able to show how great of a beast he is without making him too overpowered to the point where I'm being biased, because I wouldn't be biased on this beast because I know he's not the best. I just think he's very underappreciated and deserves more appreciation, which I think I've achieved that goal, but I will still preach from the high heavens that this beast needs recognition. Third place is Elec the Lightning Horror, and what makes Elec third place to me is simply due to how well she did in Battle of the Beast All Generation, coming into the top 5. Fantastic, first of all. Also, I love Elec's design, looking very intimidating for that matter. And the abilities are fantastic as well. The lightning absorption, then lightning breath, the constriction, natural weaponry with the fangs, and also you're incredibly fast. Like, you move to the speed of light almost. Brilliant. Her fight is also fun as well. Eventually luring her into a cave where she can't absorb as much electricity, making her at her weakest, and then having herself take herself out by shooting lightning bolts and crushing herself with rock. I think that's a great ability. And like with Convul, forcing the wrong environment suited for her, and yet she still put up a good fight, I think just shows how incredible this beast is. Although I still stand by my opinion of Elec being the most forgettable beast of Series 7, I wouldn't say that's actually a major problem because I still appreciate this beast for what she can do. Whilst I don't remember the entire story plot, I do remember that she is one of the best beasts of Series 7 in my opinion. But then again, I believe that of all of the beasts of Series 7, fourth best in my opinion of Series 7, and still third place in this water beast rankings is still very well. Second place, we have Plexor the Raging Reptile, the beast that got me a copyright strike in one of my videos. Not his fault though, it was my fault. I thought it was hilarious. I do not regret it at all. This beast has a fantastic design, simple but effective. It's based off one of my favourite Scottish legends of the Loch Ness Monster. His abilities are what you'd expect but fun. He's incredibly cunning, and his fight is incredible. The image of deceit there, fun. And then you got his performance in Battle of the Beast, where he has so many impressive victories under his belt. to the point where I think he'll be eliminated early, but he still keeps showing that he can make it further and further and further. I adore this beast. And it goes without saying, obviously, it's second best because there's only one other beast which is better than him for every single reason which I've just mentioned is great about Plexor. And my favourite water beast is, of course, Crestor the Crushing Terror. There is absolutely no question in my mind why Crestor is number one, and that's because his design is incredible. I love the serpentine-like body with his whole body being long and slender with just 4 limbs sticking out, leading out to a tail. You got spikes going along the back of his neck, shooting acid up into an acid rain. Obviously a water beast due to his webbed claws. Abilities, you've got, as I said, the spikes, the hammerhead here, sharp claws, everything is great. His fight being on a rocky terrain as well, nowhere near water and still putting up a fantastic effort is incredible and shows that this beast is one to look out for. Epic, honestly. And what makes Crestor the best water beast in my opinion is that this one has come very close to winning Battle of the Beasts, not once but twice, finishing in second place in the Old Generation tournament and third place in the All Generation tournament. Quite frankly, I can't imagine a single beast who can do better than Crestor in Battle of the Beasts. And yeah, Crestor, most consistent beast, and I really hope he wins the tournament in the future, because I would love to. I think he deserves to win. He's came close 2 times before. If he comes close a third time and fails, that'll just be unfortunate for him. But I think Crestor has a victory for a future tournament coming in the future. I just don't know when. And with that, that's the list. I've ranked all the water beasts from my least favourite to favourite, with, of course, my favourite being Crestor the Crushing Terror. For those of you who know me quite well, this would be no surprise. This is, of course, my third favourite beast of all of Beast Quest. And the only reason why he's not my favourite is because Carnivora and Torpix exist. So, yeah. Crestor, fantastic. I do hope he does have his opportunity to win a tournament in the future. Whilst he was close in the previous few tournaments, I think what pulled him down was actually the situational standards of the previous tournaments, which put him at disadvantage. Depending what the next tournament is after the current one, if Crestor can participate in it, it really depends on who his opponents are. Because I can, if I do a water tournament, water beast tournament, then there's probably 5, maybe 6 beasts which can get in the way of Crestor winning. And I don't show bias in these battles, but the fact that Crestor was able to get to the finals twice is incredible enough, really. And I would expect him to make it further, make it to the finals again in the future tournament. Don't know when that'll be, but hey, I want Crestor to join the winner's circle. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it, because compared to Crestor and Carnivora, only one of them, if I can see one of them making it to the winner's circle, it's going to be Crestor more than Carnivora. And it pains me to say that. I love Carnivora, but yeah, Crestor is brilliant. But with that I'll stop gushing about Crestor and saying of how I want him to win a tournament. He probably will, but if he gets beaten by another beast, he gets beaten by another beast. I do think if there's any beast in Series 7 that can give Crestor a tough battle, though, it will be Edic. And that'll be a fun battle to do. But that's only when teams aren't allowed anymore. But with that, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification button down below. If you've got any more requests for videos you'd like me to do, please in the comments below what they are, and I'll get to them as soon as I can. I hope you liked the video Ultimate Pair. This video was entirely for you. And with that, I'll see you next time.